Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Jules, and today I'm going to be telling you about how I got into an Icelandic university, the University Center of Westfjords, which is hosted by, I'm not Icelandic, so please don't blast me, University of Akureyri. I tried, okay? So anyways, a little bit background on me. I graduated my undergrad in 2020 at the height of the pandemic with a degree in French and in dance. So my opportunities were very limited, to say the least. I was blowing through my whole undergrad anyways because I was paying for school myself, so I was trying to finish as efficiently as possible. Even though I wanted to switch to environmental science, but they told me it was going to take me 2 extra years to graduate, and I was like, no ma'am, thank you, bye. Anyways, I think American school is a scam. But I'm a lifelong learner and I like school, but my undergrad was not the best use of my time to learn, really, except for my study abroad and like a couple of my classes and professors that were really awesome. Shout out to those guys. Love you guys. But I only graduated with $17,000 in loans, which is pretty good. I'm pretty proud of myself. Anyways, I knew that I wanted to go back to school. I applied in 2022 on a whim, last second. I'd been planning it for the whole year, but I stopped trying because it was really hard for me to get a letter of reference for some reason, or to get my professor to respond to me. But yeah, last second I got the guts to do it, and I just did it because she finally sent it after like months. And also I just feel much better financially now at 24 than I did when I was 17, so I'm moving to Iceland with a solid plan in place, and I want to work on this master's in coastal communities and regional development, which is an MA, Master of Arts, but they also have a Master of Sciences, so there are 2 counterparts to this university, which is really awesome. It's a tiny program. I think they only let in like 20 students to each, and there's only 2, so it's really, really small, which is very opposite of my undergrad experience, which had like 27,000 people. So I actually ended up applying for the school year of 2022-23, so I applied last year for this year, basically. But I got in so fast, I ended up like deferring because it was like super overwhelming, and I only had like a month and a half to get everything together. So I was like, you know what? I'm vibing right now as a little ski instructor in Colorado, so let me just take 1 more year to like make money and have fun, and then I'll go to school next year. And I'm glad I did, because it would have probably been a dumpster fire if I tried to go to school like immediately. So let's get to the application process, which is really straightforward. All you need is a bachelor's degree from a legit university and to speak English pretty well. All other classes are taught in English. Most European universities teach their master's and PhD programs in English. So that is part of the application, is that you need to speak English. And if you don't have that as your native language, you need to have a certification from an internationally recognized university saying that you speak English well enough to learn, basically. And people who are non-native, they know what this process is. They've probably done it a million times at this point, so I'm not going to get too much into that. The deadlines generally are mid-February for your best chances, mid-April for sloppy seconds, and then the application deadline that I applied for was June 5th. I think I applied on literally June 4th and I got it. I guess people were still nervous about going back to school, and there's a lot of international students, so travel was still kind of weird at the time, so they probably had a lot less applications that they are used to. And I think that you see that all the way across the board everywhere. I don't know why I can't speak right now, but anyways, I do know that it was more competitive this year, so I am pretty lucky I deferred, and like the competition was higher, and I am still in a way. Right now, there's no application fee, so you have nothing to lose really financially by doing this. And there is no tuition fees, just administrative fees, which is 300,000 ISK or 150,000 ISK if you are EU, so 300 is for everyone else basically. which equates to $2,000 USD and $1,000 USD for the whole year. Tell me where else you can get a grad degree for that much money. For the application, you're gonna need a European style CV, which you can just Google how to do that. But if you're like me, I had to do a CV for my undergrad because I graduated in French, so they made us do this whole senior capstone class, whatever. So I basically already had that just added to it with my work experience since I had been out of school for 3 years. Then you need to write a letter of intent, which is basically a little essay saying why you want to go to this school. And I'm pretty sure your intentions will be pretty clear. Have someone proofread it, turn that in. Unofficial, you need official, unopened transcripts sent directly from your undergrad university to the University Center of Westfjords, which you probably also already know how to do, but you can contact your home university to figure out how to do that if you need to. You also need 2 letters of recommendation. I got one from an employer where I felt really good in my position of work, and then I got one from school from my undergrad, and that was the one I struggled to get the most because communication was not great. Like, I would follow up, and there would be like crickets. So I got really frustrated with the process. But you know, I wanted to have one from my work and one from my school, so we had a little bit of pizzazz. Just to have that variety definitely helps. Also, if you do have just both from school, you've never really had any work experience, I would highly recommend doing like one from one department and one from another. So let's say like English literature wasn't your degree, but you had one professor that you really connected with and you know they would write a really good letter of rec for you, but your actual major was history. Having 2 different varieties would definitely help your case if you don't have that work experience. Lastly, you need a picture of your passport, which I hope you have one, and proof of English language, which I talked about earlier in this video. Either you're native or you're not, and if you're not native, you know basically what you need to do. Take that proficiency exam and then have a certification of the copy that you can send over to them. Once you have all of this stuff, go to their website, uw.is, and put in an application with them. Wait until you have everything to put in your application. You can apply to both programs, but I would recommend changing up your letter of intent if you want to apply to the MS and the MA. But I feel like most people kind of know where they want to go, so just pick the one that you feel strongly about and apply for that one. Once you've applied, you basically get an email saying you've applied, blah blah blah, thanks for applying, and then I got an email from the director of admissions saying we're going to review applications on this date, so we will let you know by this date, and that was basically it. And then a week later I got an email saying you got in, congratulations, here's a packet of information of what you want to do, and I panicked. I was like, oh my god. I have a month and a half to get my life together to like go to the school. So I didn't do it. I deferred, and they said, okay, you have 1 year to defer. Just let us know by February if you still want to come. And I was like, cool. I think it was January actually. It was like early February, late January. And I was like, fine. I let them know in January, and then I paid my administrative fees in April, and now it's May, and it's coming really fast. Once I told them I accept this letter of acceptance, basically, they sent me a legit letter of acceptance so I could turn that into like all the visa stuff, saying that I'm legitimately going to this college. And then they connected me with their housing people, which basically they have like this wiki with all of these different housing opportunities basically, and they're all private landlords, so you have to get in touch with that person specifically to like get into their unit or units, because some of them own a bunch of them. The way they make it fair, I think, is that they ask you, like the housing people ask you for your top 2 choices, and they send you those contacts first and see if you can work that out. And I assume that if it doesn't work out, they'll send you more information, but the first 2 that they sent me worked out for me. They are building actual student housing, so we'll see how that is, because this is the first year they'll have real student housing. I don't have any idea about that, but I'll make a separate video about housing once I kind of get into the unit and then also experience the student housing from some friends that I make. But for now, boy howdy, follow your dreams. I'll see you guys out there.